Foxhole is a massive multiplayer war game, but instead of it being a first-person or third-person like most shooters, it's played from a top-down perspective. You see your soldier, the battlefield, and the chaos all from above. This design choice has been a part of Foxhole since the beginning. When people first see Foxhole, the very first thing they notice is the perspective. The top-down turns some players away before they even give the game a chance. Some players assume Foxhole is some kind of real-time strategy game like Company of Heroes. Many players in Foxhole have daydreamed about what it would be like to play this game in first person and third person, and today we're going to talk about and show those perspectives. First person view is easily the most requested feature I've heard from Foxhole players. Players have even tried to start petitions to get the devs to add it to the game. The version you're seeing here is actually a mod, made possible through a third-party program. It's not how the game was designed to be played, so some things might look a little bit off, but it still gives us a good idea of what Foxhole could feel like in first person. Over the last year, I've had a few small studios reach out to me, asking if I'd consult on projects to create a first-person version of Foxhole. I politely declined, mainly because I don't really have the skill set or time to take on a project like that. I told them to keep me updated on their progress, but I've never heard back from any of them after that. Maybe some developers are still working on it in the shadows, and we will see a game similar to Foxhole in first person here in the near future. I think this brings up an interesting question though. Could a game like Foxhole ever work as a first person game? Or could it be a game that could be played on consoles? Would casual console players enjoy a game that runs 24/7 where the wars never really stop? I've seen a lot of players request that it should come to consoles as well, but I'm just not sure it would play out the same on consoles. I've had some players argue that third person might be a better fit for Foxhole, but personally I don't think it suits Foxhole's tone or style. Third person, in my opinion, gives it a more arcade or Fortnite vibe, which feels out of place in a game built around large-scale battles. With that said though, maybe some roles could work better in different perspectives. Imagine switching between first, third, and top-down depending on what you're doing. You could be in third person while you're in a tank commanding position, or first person for infantry, and of course you could do the top-down perspective for logistics. It could be a simple toggle feature that is put into the game to change your viewpoint. I think it would definitely be interesting to experiment with. Now you might be thinking that first or third person would give players an advantage, that they could see farther ahead, but this simply is not true. Even with those views, players and vehicles only render at a certain distance, so you're not actually gaining any real visibility advantage by being in first person or third person. You can see from this example here when the player gets within render distance and the enemy starts to pop in. If anything, I think the traditional top-down player probably still has the upper hand in awareness and control of the battlefield. First person can certainly add a lot of immersion, especially during big battles where you really feel like you're a part of the fight. Third person, on the other hand, makes things look a little silly, and makes me feel like I'm playing some old Xbox 360 game like Gears of War. You might be thinking that both of these perspectives look really cool, but they do come with trade-offs. Foxhole has always been about the war as a whole, not just individual soldiers. First person limits your awareness and takes away from the strategic overview that the top-down view provides. Plus, Foxhole's systems like building, logi, and driving are all designed around that overhead visibility. Moving those into first person would probably make managing, building, and navigating a lot more frustrating than fun. And I think that's really what makes the top-down perspective so important to Foxhole. It's not just a camera angle, it's a core part of the game's identity. It connects everything together. When you're in that view, you're not just focused on your own fight. You can see the supplies coming in, defenses being built, the front lines, and even how your small contribution fits into the larger war effort. It's the perspective that reminds you that this isn't about being a hero, it's about being a part of something much bigger. I believe it keeps the game grounded in teamwork and coordination instead of individual glory. That shared top-down view also helps balance the community. Everyone's on an even playing field. It keeps things fair, tactical, and focused on communication rather than reaction speed, in my opinion. So after thinking about this, we need to ask ourselves, is the top-down view the best way to play Foxhole? Personally, I'd say yes. It's what gives the game its unique identity. It keeps players thinking not just about themselves, but about the war machine as a whole. And I think that's something you'd lose if the camera shifted to first person or third person. Now that's not to say a game like Foxhole wouldn't work in first or third person. In fact, I think it would be really exciting to see one take the idea of Foxhole and build a version that focuses on first person. I think it could be a really fun concept, especially if they keep the persistent war aspect. A first-person version could make every trench fight, artillery barrage, and nighttime push feel terrifyingly real. You'd feel the scale of the conflict from a completely different perspective. But I believe it would have to be its own game. Foxhole was never designed for that kind of viewpoint. Changing that perspective would change the entire soul of the game. So while it's fun to imagine what a first or third-person Foxhole-style game could feel like, I think it's fair to say that the top-down perspective isn't just the best view for Foxhole, it's the only one that truly makes it what it is. I'm sure players are already starting to talk about how they want first-person or third-person for Anvil Empires as well. Anvil Empires is being developed by Siege Camp and will also have a top-down perspective. The game is currently in pre-alpha and it's slower paced. It's a bit more focused on smaller group interactions, and it gives a more personal sense of progression. Because of that, I think it's fair to ask, would Anvil Empires benefit from adding first or third-person options? Would that make it more exciting or appealing to casual players who might not be used to the overhead view? It's possible that a hybrid system could work here as well. Imagine being able to walk around your keep or settlement in third person, seeing your structures and allies up close, and then zooming back out to the strategic top-down view when commanding or building, or having the option to toggle into first person when on the battlefield. That kind of flexibility would be interesting to see. This is what one developer from Anvil Empires had to say about their plans for different perspectives. We currently have no plans to alter the camera perspective. We want to fully explore and utilize the potential of a limited top-down perspective. End quote. I would guess like Foxhole, they have no plans as of right now for trying to implement different perspectives. They want to stick to their unique style that really no other game does. I would say just like with Foxhole, there's a delicate balance to maintain. Adding too much immersion might take away from the big picture strategy that makes these games unique. The moment-to-moment gameplay could become more about the action and less about coordination, and that's a line both games have to walk carefully. In the end, the top-down perspective isn't just a design choice, it's a philosophy. It shapes how players think, how they cooperate, and how they see the war around them. And whether it's Foxhole or Anvil Empires, that shared strategic viewpoint is what keeps these worlds feeling alive and truly connected. Players, of course, remain weary and skeptical about the top-down perspective. Many players are worried about how it will work in Foxhole when planes are introduced. I believe the devs have done a great job so far making sure everything fits together with previous updates, so I have faith in the dev team that they will be implemented in a way that does not look unnatural from the current flow of the game. The top-down view might not be the most popular, but it's what makes these games unique. While first-person or third-person perspectives show us what Foxhole could look like, they also highlight why the developers chose the top-down style to begin with. In the end, the perspective is both Foxhole's biggest barrier and one of its greatest strengths. Perspective changes how we experience a game, but it doesn't change what makes it special. Foxhole and Anvil both prove that the top-down view still has a lot of depth and purpose. It's what I believe makes these games unique in a sea of first-person shooters, and honestly, the broader view might be exactly what keeps them feeling different and worth coming back to. What do you think about first-person or third-person views in Foxhole or Anvil Empires? Let me know in the comments. I've started uploading more to my Patreon and Ko-Fi accounts. If you would like to watch these videos, you can support me with only $1 to gain access, or you can become a subscriber as well. This really helps support the channel and helps me pay for animations, new equipment, and the programs that I use to edit. If you are unable to support the channel financially, no problem. Watching old videos or maybe videos you haven't seen before helps a lot as well. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support. Make sure to subscribe for more Foxhole and Anvil Empires content. I'll see you out on the battlefield. Cheers.